Fertility people, what what a bumper harvest I had this week. It's hard to keep up with you lot. You're working hard, all right. There's nothing shorter than that. And you know what I often feel with particularly with electronic courses, is that um, the first courses that you get in, the first modules that you get in, tend to be the people who are keenest and tend to be the people who are kind of most committed. And I've often thought that after a while, it kind of tails off the busyness associated with online courses, and you start to have to nag people, but there's no nagging involved with you, crowd. You're as keen as mustard. I can see that. Um, so let's go through the stuff. Let's go through the stuff, shall we, bit by bit. First of all, welcome to Danielle and Archie. Good to see you all. Good to see you all aboard now. Um, I'm sorry about the glitchy start. Next year, if we get a bit more run in, it should be a bit smoother. All of this, I'd certainly hope so. And then we've got Monica as well down south. Hi, Monica. This is Chris. Voice at the end of the phone. I had to talk Monica through the logging on process last week. It's easier than you think, innit? And once you've got the rhythm of these courses, then they make a bit more sense. So the book, right? Let's start off with the book, shall we? Well, I mean, I've had a couple of um, correspondence about the book saying the links aren't working and all that sort of stuff. Well, I know the links to chapters aren't working, yeah, but the link to the I've just checked it. I've just checked it now myself. The link to, and I'm at home, as you can see, so you know, I will see what you will see. And the link to the book as a whole, that seems to be working okay. And what I'm going to do, I think, is just take down all the links that were said to jump you directly to the appropriate chapter, and just stick the overall book. And you'll have to go through the chapters yourself and find them, you know. And that's a bit of a pain, but it's not. It's not fatal. Not fatal. And what's more, Dominique, you say, you know, whether it's a problem. Ask me to take a look at it to see whether it's a problem of your computer or the university. Well, it's not really a problem with either. It's a problem with the permissions that the publishers put up. So it's it's up at the publishers, really. That's the problem. But you should have access to the whole book. Yeah, you should be able to log on to the entire book. Now, I think it was you, Dominique, who said that even then there are navigation issues around it, and that's a bit unfortunate. I didn't anticipate that, I got to tell you, and I don't quite know what you mean. So I've just now emailed you to Dominique to say, you know, give us a call, and I'll get to know what it is that you're actually seeing. That's often the quickest way, you know, in the end, just to ring up. But I'm not. I'm very reluctant to, from my home or my office, ring students, because you would be amazed how many times in the past I've rang students at home and got them out of bed after a night shift. Oh God, it really is guilt inducing. So good to have Monica and Danielle and Archie aboard. And I've got to say, although there are a couple of people who haven't done any of the formative work that I've set for you all, by and large, it's been pretty impressive, the work I've had off you. Even though I'm setting these questions and I haven't got a clue, I have not got a clue about often what the question means even. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is a pretty easy thing to do. But what I do is I read the chapter, I find some figures in the chapter, and I ask you questions about the figures in the chapter. And basically, you can get 100% right if you just read the chapter and make notes. And I can see what you do. Yeah, from my perspective, when I open up the grade centre, that the teachers can do in the machine here in Blackboard, I can see what it is, how it is that you do these tests. What you do first of all is you go in and have a look around, because what it says to me is that question 1, no answer. Question 2, no answer. Question 3, no answer. And at the bottom, I go save and go to next. Click on that, and then your name comes up next to the another version of the test, and then there's all the answers all filled in. So I can see what you walk in and you have a good look around, yeah, and then you go out and think about it all, and then come back in and fill them all in. And it is pretty straightforward, isn't it? It is pretty straightforward. But to me, what it does as the teacher. No, I'm not the teacher. I'm not the teacher. I'm the collector. As the collector, what it does is it alerts me to the fact that you're going through the Sept textbook with all the problems therein. So, what am I going to say? I'm going to say top marks this week go to Kath. Kath R. Nice one, Kath. Because I'll tell you why Kath got top marks. There were several very, very impressive responses that came back. But what Kath managed to do was not just to fill in the questions and to fill in the qualitative questions too, but she managed to upload the Word document into Blackboard for me to take a little look at there. So it wasn't just academically rigorous, it was technically impressive too. Nice one, Kath. I'm impressed by that sort of thing. Personally, I think that that being computer savvy should be one of the learning outcomes for the module. Just, getting people used to the idea of communicating online and uploading, downloading, sideloading, the whole thing. What else am I going to say? Oh yeah. What else am I going to say about the formative work? I don't know what you think. I don't know. Oh, before let's put that out aside. The other impressive set of responses I got this week from Dominique. Nice one, Dominique. I appreciate it. And the reason why I say they were impressive is both yours and Kat's is that they struck me as very, very thoughtful. That there was one of you that actually supported it with references off the Adam Balen book. I was only really looking for the ideas or your opinion on the ideas that come out of Balen's book. I was particularly interested in the one that I think it was you, Dominique, when you said that other professionals, gynecologists, are very sensitive these days about the fertility aspects of the treatment that they offer. There are occasions, such as ectopic pregnancy, where there's a serious risk of the woman being permanently damaged by the process, and therefore the fertility issue has to take a back seat. But you think that gynecologists are increasingly sensitive about all that sort of stuff, whereas in other specialisms, they're less sensitive about it. It's not a first order concern for these people. Do you remember that case a few years ago where a doctor was, and I think this fellow was a gynecologist. He had a postmenopausal woman, I think, on the operating theatre table, and she was having some sort of abdominal procedure done. And he, while she's having this procedure done, he just whipped out her ovaries and said, well, there's one less thing to have cancer. She should be thankful for me for it. Remember that case? I think that fella got struck off. largely for that, But rare, vanishingly rare. So what else have I got here? What else have I got? Yeah. Thank you, Kath, for telling me about the presentation with Jane. Yeah, I, it it is what Kath has pointed out to me is that the PowerPoint slides lose synchronicity with the slide with the sound. Poor old Jane is talking about the last slide when the fresh slides up. It doesn't match. Um, Thank you for that. That it is getting rarer and rarer that happens to me. I've learned different ways and different techniques of doing that, but occasionally one slips through the net. But I need to be by my machine in work before I can put that one right. Um, that used to be a real pain, that did, when that happened, because I'd have to re-engineer the whole thing from scratch. But I've learned techniques, um, as you're learning techniques to deal with the software and the computers and all that at your end. So I'm learning how to deal with glitches in the editing process. So I'm resisting the urge to say blind leading the blind, but you get me drift. Have I got anything to say further to that? Yeah, I appreciated all of those replies that you sent in there, ladies and gents. I didn't so much appreciate the ones that didn't send anything in, but I'm sure it's because you're busy, And the fact of the matter is that you've been very gentle with me when the book's gone down and when the registration process was so rocky. So I'm not going to give you hassle in return. You go easy on me, I'll go easy on you. But I am curious. You can't blame me for being curious as to why some people have done the tests at the end of each lesson and some people haven't. And that reminds me, at some point this week, I've got to start doing more tests because this is the week when I run out of test material. Don't forget, I'm still looking for course materials, particularly for the next semester. You can see what's in the next semester in the list there at the beginning of the content area. If you know anyone who'd like to contribute to an online master's level course, perhaps some keen as mustard registrar that I'd be most appreciative because I've got to start thinking now of collecting the materials for next semester. Anything else? Did somebody mention? I'm just gonna have a little look. Somebody mentioned Skype, and I've forgotten. That's right. That's right. It's Dominique. Dominique, don't worry if you can't attend. That's all right. I'm going to endeavour to get our media team in to film the study day. So if I can do that, I'll just put it all up online. I mean, that'll be handy for next year. If I can get. And if I can't, then I'll have a go myself. I'll get a video camera myself and just torment the poor speakers with it. So, have I got anything else to tell you? Keep on with the tests. Keep on letting me know if there are any glitches. You can see how informal this whole thing is. You will find every now and again in those tests, by the way, there are one or two moody questions which I've put in because I've been at the end of a day and I feel like a laugh. That one about the quadratic equation, I understand quadratic equations, true or false. I'm glad you all said false because I have got no idea what a quadratic recession analysis and all that sort of stuff is. So if you see a question that says things like, Chris Jones is balmy, yes, no, it's because I'm at the end of a day's hard computer graft and I'm kind of losing the will to live. But I just throw a couple in just to be mischievous. So, if I don't hear from you before, and I hope that I do hear from you, keep it up, everyone. I understand it's glitchy, and I understand that it's a bit of a pain, but as the weeks go on, you'll get in the rhythm of it, and it'll, all that you'll have to irritate you then will be my mistakes, which are plentiful. So I'll speak to you soon, everybody. Bye now. This is in the way of an afterthought, really. I've just had Dominique on the phone. Do you like me fancy phone? Like that sort of modern art phone. Dominique's just been on the phone, and she was telling me we were going through in detail. She was clicking as I was looking through my end the problems that she's been having with the Sept textbook online. And we're not talking now about the links. We're talking about going in through the university library website, putting Adam Balin's name in, opening the book up, the electronic version of the book from scratch. And she's alerted me to the fact that she had no way of navigating their way around the Sept textbook, and I can't really understand why it was that happened. So my basic question here is, if you go in and take a look at Adam Balin's book, do you get access to the full book through the university library, or is it asking you for peculiar things and only giving you one page at a time, like what's happening with poor Dominique? Dominique, there was one thing that I forgot to suggest to you. Try a different browser. I know it's clutching at straws, but you'd be amazed how many times online problems with my courses just disappear if the person goes from Internet Explorer to Firefox or to Chrome. I don't know why that is, but just try it. Try using a different browser and see how you go. I mean, I know you did tell me that you've gone from tablet to PC, so I am clutching at straws here. But just have a go. What have we got to lose? Anyone else in this predicament? Let me know, because what I want to isolate is this a problem with Dominique and something going on in their machine, or is this a problem with the university library, Dawson Publications and Blackboard? I need to know. So